Hello you guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about small business banking and cash flow. Like, where do you store the money? How do you keep your money in a place that's like not you hide money under, your couch, so to speak, but also something that's low risk? Because let's be honest, when you're starting off with a business, you don't want someone taking money. So I know I might get a little flack for this, but I don't recommend the big banks. Most of the time they have fees set up. Most of the time, like, let's say, the payments weren't what you thought they were going to be for the month, and you end up, something else ends up coming out of your account. This kind of banking, these banking solutions that I want to talk to you guys about today, they will not charge you like crazy overdraft fees and things like that, because if you don't got it, you're not going to have it. Okay. So that's kind of business banking and just banking solutions that I'm going to talk about today. You don't have to be a small business owner necessarily. I have used these things outside of the business. I've used them personally, and I just want to let you guys in on a few of these apps. Okay. All right. So I did mention a few of these apps, and that brings me to the first thing. I wanted something that was 100% online. I'm one of those people. I don't necessarily like going into the banks. I like to do everything over like an online platform. So I would like to talk to the customer service rep via chatting, like in a web browser on a computer. I don't even want to have to pick up the phone. So finding a bank that was online was paramount for me. And also, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. It took me a long time to learn how to manage money, like to not spend it all until it's bone dry. It took me a while to get to that point. So I had tried like conventional banks. Like, I used to bank with Regions for a long time, and I loved the bank, but they had some outrageous fees. They charged a fee to keep the bank open for a period of time. And then they also, like, let's say, you don't have the coins, okay? And you have things set up to be coming out of your account, little subscriptions and things. I have a $6 subscription for PicMonkey, and next thing you know, I'm paying, $28, $35 for fees. And I remember they started sending me like these little things in the mail years later saying, oh, we accidentally took too much money out of your account, and they send me checks. And that's all cool, but I just didn't feel like dealing with all that. I wanted something that was online, that was simple, that was literally just a place for me to hold my money and see how much money is available. The first solution that I found was Chime. Now, I'm going to show you guys the web browser for Chime, but let me tell you about the app. I can't show you the app because I currently have some coins in there and I want you all in my business, but the app is stellar. Like, the app is on par with any of the large banking companies. Their app is actually better than the one that I had when I was banking with Regions. I really like the app. I like the whole platform. One of the things that I like about them is that you can turn on and off the transactions. So let's say, I'm just being real with y'all. Let's say you don't want these, platforms taking stuff out of your account. Like, until you figure out where all the money's going, like, where is the money's destination, you're like, hold on with the taking money out of my account. You can turn your notifications off. There's no charge to keep your money there. They don't charge you to take money out of the ATM. Well, no, they do charge you to take money out of the ATM, but they don't charge you to put money on the card. You can deposit. You can see your online statements. You can send money to friends. You can boost friends, which is like give them some extra money that they can spend that's not necessarily the money they have. And Chime also has this thing called Spot Me. So it's basically like overdraft, but you don't pay for it. So, there's that. Sometimes you need it. Okay. Sometimes you need to overdraw so you can get some gas, and that just is what it is. So I really have loved this bank. And one of the things that I really liked about it, so if you can see this card right here, let me get the scissors, and you hear that? This is not, I don't know if you can tell it. There you go. You can hear that? This is not like a regular card. This card is metal. They were doing like this little special a while ago. It was like 2 years ago. They're doing this special where if you spent a certain amount of money, like you swiped your card a certain amount of times, then you got this as a reward. So this is the credit builder card. And one of the great things about Chime is you can have 3 separate accounts, right? All visible on the same app. And whenever you get your paycheck, whenever your clients pay you, however you're adding money to this account, you can say, hey, I'm going to put $100 in my savings. Hey, I'm going to put $200 for me to spend. Hey, I'm going to dump $500 $100 in my credit builder account, and they actually report to your credit, and you can build credit that way, but you're still able to use the money that you placed on this card. And like I said, all three of these things are visible to you in the app. So if you want to set one of the accounts, like, hey, these are my, this is my business expense account. If I need gas for massages, or if I need a self-care, like a business self-care day, if I want to give gifts to my client, whatever you're doing, you can actually separate those into the accounts. So I really like them. Like I said, I think I've been using them for about 3 years. And I finally have switched away from using them, but only because I have taken a liking to Capital One and how they treat their customers. And I am not doing so much business things where the money has to leave out in such like a quick fashion. You know what I mean? So this was very good. The one thing I really like about this, and when you're choosing an online banking platform, I would highly, highly suggest is one, to see how quickly the customer service responds, how they feel about customer service issues. And I'll get to another one of the things here in a second, and we'll talk more about that. But that is very important. If someone steals money from you, if you were scammed, if you were like ripped off or something like that, you want to know that the bank says, hey, no, you can do a dispute and we'll get you your money back. And I'm not talking about you being a con artist. I'm talking about something actually happened. Like for me, this has actually happened, and I've actually got a chance to talk to a customer service representative more than once. I think it happened like twice, and I was actually able to get my money back, and the scammers didn't get the money. Another thing is you want to make sure that the online banking platform that you're using is kind of covered by more they're considered serious. You know what I mean? So this card, Chime, their banking is not considered like a prepaid debit card. Like if you were doing some of these other platforms, it's not considered that. So if you would go get like a loan or something like that, it would all be legit. And there's this program, which I'll pull it up for you guys so you can see, and you can search in all of the banks, right? You can search all of the banks and only the bigger name banks pop up. Well, Chime is one of the small banks that are, in big banking spaces. And that's very important, especially if you want to get loans and things like that. So I really like this card. I'm not sponsored at all. I'm just telling you guys about this because Chime was a lifesaver for me. I don't know what kind of verification process they take you to get the card, but I can imagine that it's not that strenuous. They base your relationship with them off of how much money and how you keep in your account. And that's really just what it is. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. All right, so next we're going to talk about Cash App. We all know about Cash App at this point. Everyone has heard of it. And I'm just going to mention something very small here. I would not recommend using Cash App as your primary source of business banking for one reason alone. And that is the customer service is poo. Okay, it's not good customer service. And when I say customer service, what I mean is their ability to be able to dispute something that you say is not right. They don't really do that. I mean, I've had situations occur using Cash App, and they basically tell me like, give me this very generic copy and paste message of what I need to do and never follow up. I never get a resolution. They don't care if someone's stealing money from you. They don't care if you're stealing money from other people. I would not suggest leaving large sums of money, getting large sums of money deposited there, leaving large sum of money. Like I remember one time I got a direct deposit lost. Like it just didn't show up in the account. And I ended up having to call the place and do all this kind of stuff. But Cash App really didn't care. They was kind of like, well, did you check the deposit numbers? Very copy and paste answers. And that is not somewhere that you want to do your primary business banking with. That is one of the perks of having a larger bank, like doing business with a larger bank. But like I said, Chime gave me all of that, and it wasn't a larger bank, and I didn't have any problems. But I would not suggest doing it for Cash App. What I would suggest you using your Cash App for is things like, if you're doing this for business, things like taking tips. You can take like little one-off payments, but I wouldn't use them as my primary source of getting paid. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I've tried it, but like I said, if it comes to a place where things need to be disputed, they're not really good about solving those things. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. All right, so next we're going to talk about Cash App. We all know about Cash App at this point. Everyone has heard of it. And I'm just going to mention something very small here. I would not recommend using Cash App as your primary source of business banking for one reason alone, and that is the customer service is poo. Okay, it's not good customer service. And when I say customer service, what I mean is their ability to be able to dispute something that you say is not right. They don't really do that. I mean, I've had situations occur using Cash App, and they basically tell me, like, you know, give me this very generic copy and paste message of what I need to do and never follow up. I never get a resolution. They don't care if someone's stealing money from you. They don't care if you're stealing money from other people. I would not suggest leaving large sums of money, getting large sums of money deposited there, leaving large sum of money. Like, I remember one time I got a direct deposit lost. Like, it just didn't show up in account. And I end up having to call the place and do all this kind of stuff. But Cash App really didn't care. They was kind of like, well, did you check the deposit numbers? Very copy and paste answers. And that is not somewhere that you want to do your primary business banking with. That is one of the perks of having a larger bank, like doing business with a larger bank. But like I said, Chime gave me all of that, and it wasn't a larger bank, and I didn't have any problems. But I would not suggest doing it for Cash App. What I would suggest you using your Cash App for is things like, if you're doing this for business, things like taking tips. You know, you can take like little one-off payments, but I wouldn't use them as my primary source of getting paid. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I've tried it, but like I said, if it comes to a place where things need to be disputed, they're not really good about solving those things. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. All right, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is PayPal. And PayPal has always been up on game, in my opinion, but PayPal has really come up with a lot of things. So I'm not talking about if you're not doing business. Like, if you're doing like just personal stuff, personal banking, I think Chime will suffice. But let's say you want to do more, you want to integrate your business, like you want to get more business, like you want to do payroll, you want a whole business account, you want to get like tax statements and hook your business platform to your website and all this kind of stuff, get invoicing. PayPal is the best for that. I use PayPal. My website payments go directly to PayPal, and then PayPal hooks directly to my bank account. So you could most definitely still have Chime in that instance, or you can get a PayPal card and you can spend the money directly from there. I believe that card is associated with its own set of fees. I would definitely do a little more research, put a little information for you guys on the screen about that. But you can get it directly straight into your bank account, and you don't have to be charged for it if you don't want it instantly, right? And the good thing about Chime is that you can set it up instantly. Some banks, they're not like legit banks, and you can't get instant payments. But Chime does work in a way where you can get instant payments from PayPal. And like I said, so PayPal, you can get loans. PayPal is now about the cash flow. We ain't doing all that, you know, checking credit score, business credit, and all those kind of things. This is important. But have you heard the statement, cash is king? Cash is king. And PayPal has a program now where they're looking at the cash flow of your business. So you can get a business loan with zero credit checking and all this kind of stuff. They don't do all that. You can get a business loan depending on how much money is coming into your PayPal. So what kind of revenue is your business generating? But you can't get that if you don't have PayPal set up, if you're not actively taking payments through there. All right, so I hope this video was helpful for you guys. There are different platforms that you can use. I know Square, you know, there's Venmo as opposed to Cash App, there's Zelle, there's all these other places. These are programs, these are banks, like apps, banks, programs that I have used diligently over the last, like I said, at least 2 years. I use them for the daycare. They didn't give me any trouble. So these are the ones that I can recommend to you, or like Cash App, not so much recommend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll see you guys in the next one.